There are many people who want to start Roblox development. The problem is that they don't know on where to go to. This can left an impossible task for them to find their purpose. You might think that you don't have what it takes to start developing Roblox games. You might think that you are not gifted at scripting or building. But what I have learned over the years of pursuing Roblox development and talking with successful developers over the years is that creating your Roblox game is a step-by-step basis. If you can follow this process, this will make your life a lot easier when you are just starting out on Roblox development. In this video, I want to share insights on the step-by-step basis on surpassing the fear of starting out. I want to tell you briefly about my story on how I managed to get there at the first place. I started creating Roblox games back in 2022. At the time, I had no connections with prominent devs. I didn't know on what to do, and I lacked the skills needed to build a successful game. Moreover, I faced through rough challenges. To be able to learn from them, I steadily get better at making Roblox games, especially coding. Eventually, through my skills, I managed to network with people who are well known in the Roblox community. I have commissioned to do services for other people. So the first step that I am going to talk about today is ideation. Ideation is basically on what ideas you can think of. There are many different ways that you can get ideas for your Roblox game. When I originally started Roblox development, I opted for creating a simple campaign game. It was one of the games that I have managed to successfully complete, and here's a footage of that. Anyways, thinking about what is your main concept is fundamental towards planning a Roblox game. In my opinion, this is the most important part of your journey as a Roblox developer. You have to think about whether these ideas such as making that next GTE on Roblox will work well with the platform. You have to also keep in mind on who is your target audience is going to be. This could serve the difference between getting one player and thousands of them. In the past, I have worked with other people on projects that usually get 100 or more players. What I have learned throughout my time developing is that you need to visualize on how you are going to execute your idea. Making an idea is only one-step equation, but executing it is a different story. Here's on what I like to do when I brainstorm ideas. First, I look at the trends on the Roblox platform. This is when I will decide to whether invent a new game concept or just improve on what is already out there. I would recommend for beginners to choose the second option because it will save you time and it could potentially get players. However, if you want to be risky, then choose the first one. You may get more players. However, it does not guarantee that your idea will work. This is why I would recommend, especially for new beginners, to improve something on what is already there on the market. In this case, you're increasing your chance of having a successful game when you are just starting out. The reason why I'm saying about this is because you probably have no prior experience on what it's like to publish your game and compete with other developers to get the players' attention. Once I've done that, you can use any software to list out your ideas. Personally, I tend to use physical notes because I find that I can remember it better. For you, it might be different. In any case, that is fine. From there, I write down all of the ideas that I can think of. Even the ones that I don't think that will be successful, I still put it there anyways. I would recommend to write at least 5 to 10 ideas on your game. In this way, you can choose the best ones out of your list. If you have more, then that is great. Now, what you are going to do is to choose your best 3 concepts out of everything. Then you will research about your top 3 ideas to decide whether it has a chance to become successful or not. If you find that one of your ideas has potential, then you go stick with that idea. What happens if your idea seems to be oversaturated and have little chance of becoming a big hit? Then you have to look back at your idea list and you can potentially make new ones just to be sure. Once you are happy, we can now move on to step 2. Second step is planning your game. When planning your game, you need to think about these 2 concepts. First of all, you need to think about your target audience and also how your game is going to function, because not having any of them will result in having you to feel lost on creating your Roblox game. When I originally did a video about creating a Roblox game within 4 hours of my screen time, I lacked the time to plan my game effectively. That is why it didn't go as intended. But anyways, this shows how effective planning is critical to laying the foundation for a successful game. Otherwise, you won't know what to do, and later on, you might quit on your project. This is a mistake that many beginners make. I have made this mistake tons of times, especially when I first getting started. I realized from then on that I need to plan my game effectively. So what I do first is I think about where is my game is heading towards. Knowing what is the direction is so important if you want to stay focused and not be distracted on projects. So that is why you need to plan effectively on your game. However, I do not want you to waste your time mindlessly. So these are the 3 strategies for me to be able to plan my game. First of all, you need to think about how your game is going to function. Because if we have this idea on how the game will run, you are more likely to be able to finish your game. You need to think about on how you are going to build a game. You need to be able to define the core gameplay mechanics that will make your game engaging and enjoyable. This could include movement controls, combat systems, puzzle-solving mechanics, etc. Doing this way will help you to think about your target audience, which is the next step, because planning a game is also about appealing your game to a specific target audience, because it doesn't make sense for you to create a game like Adopt Me to someone who's like 55 years old. I know that's a really weird example, but that also links back to how you plan your game at the first place. Because if you don't take the step, or if you don't take the initiative to carefully lay down on who's the game is targeted for, you won't get any players. That is the sad truth that you need to hear about. Your next thing that you have to worry about is what's the game objective, or what is goals for the players to play. Because you need to determine the main objective and goals that players need to be able to accomplish in your game. It provides a sense of direction and purpose for players as they progress through the game. Because without any of this, your game will not work and it's gonna be boring. This will lead people leaving your game and never coming back. The third thing that you also need to consider are levels and progression. You need to include your game, you need to think about whether your game is going to include multiple levels or stages. You also need to think about the progression system, how players will progress in your game. You need to consider on how difficult will things ramp up as they advance through the game. And you need to also provide or think about what rewards players will earn for completing them and how players can advance through the game. Straightforward, after you plan your game, your next step is actually executing your idea. What do I mean by this? I mean by actually starting. There are many people out there who have a really great idea, but yet they couldn't start. Why is this? Why, you may ask? There are several reasons on why people don't start their ideas. One of the biggest reasons on why is because they are too scared to share the ideas to other people. This will left them in a state that they feel like their ideas are bad and they don't have any confidence towards their idea. The truth is that if you want to have a successful Roblox game, you have to be confident on your idea, because otherwise you will lose momentum and your motivation to create Roblox games. Momentum is so important as creating Roblox games because it will help you guide through the most challenging parts of Roblox development. So there are several things that you need to consider. First of all, once you have laid out your plan, you have to consider what is the easiest thing that you can do first for that specific game that you are planning to make. So here's an example. A game that I did in a video back, I only have like 20 minutes to plan, because creating an obby throughout that time frame is the easiest thing that you can do. And if I try to create any other game like a simulator, it will consume a lot of time just focusing on the UI. So executing your ideas are basically the most important part. Like, even though I said that planning and iterations is important, but executing them is far more important than actually planning out. Because if you have a good plan and if you stick to it, you are far more likely to actually finish your game. So in this stage, I would recommend for you to group items by group so that you don't get lost. Because I can guarantee you that as you build this game, there will be times that you need to look for a specific item. So this is why it's important for you to put folders on specific categories so that you can organize them, because organization can be really helpful for how you build your game or how you script the game. Because if you don't do that, you will waste your time at trying to look at something that you are looking for right now, and you be like, I'm gonna be stuck there for like 2 or 3 hours just looking for that script. Or what if that specific script doesn't work? And you go to the output page and you need to diagnose on what issue that the script is facing. This is the part that many people decide, no, I'm done. I'm done with Roblox development. I can't do this anymore. That is what most people say. Because usually the first 2 steps are the most easiest. But actually executing your idea is a different story. And there are loads of people out there who may have been a successful developer, but the fear of starting gets ahead of them. The main reason why they struggle to finish their Roblox game is because they find it really hard to find time for creating Roblox game. But here's the thing. If you show me your screen time, like if you have more than 4 hours, I can guarantee you that you are wasting your time on social media. You might have just created the next pet simulator. Who knows? You never know. And that's the reality that most have not yet to confront with, because these social media companies are spending millions to hook people in. I know it's such a sad thing, but the only thing that separates you making Roblox games and procrastinating is your attention. Because these companies want your attention. You need to also dive your attention away from the distractions that doesn't align with your goals. Because in the future, you will look back and you will regret that you haven't done this particular thing or the particular goal that you're committed towards. Even if you don't achieve that goal, it will still be better than not trying at all.